This is Istanbul, that ancient city of which has been said, if the world consisted of a single state, its capital would be Istanbul. What hasn't this city seen? Such states have been established, such empires have been destroyed in this city. A city that connects Asia and Europe between two continents. With its unique geographical location, it has been the center of trade and industry for centuries. Since the day it became the capital of the Ottoman Empire, Istanbul has hosted dozens of well-established organizations throughout history. One of those organizations is 140 years old today. The ever-rising value of the ideal of national and domestic production, Der Saadet Chamber of Commerce. Today, Istanbul Chamber of Commerce. Istanbul Chamber of Commerce was established exactly 140 years ago according to the official date. The foundations of the idea of establishing the chamber were laid during the reign of Sultan Abdulaziz Han. Mehmet Said Bey, who would later be appointed as the Grand Vizier during the reign of Abdülhamid Han, accelerated the efforts to establish a local chamber of commerce in Istanbul in 1875 without wasting any time. He was a member of the Trade and Agriculture Council at that time.
Sultan Abdülaziz dönemindeki ticaret ve ziraat nezaretinin bünyesinde kurulmuş olan Ticaret ve Ziraat Meclisi aslında bunun temelini oluşturuyor. Bu mecliste görevli olanlardan bir tanesi de işte Mehmet Said Bey'di ki Der Saadet Ticaret Odası'nın kurulması fikrinin daha temelinde, çekirdeğinde bu meclis üyeliği sırasında ilgili layihaları hazırlamaya başlamıştır.
Europe was advancing rapidly in production and trade with cheap machine-made goods. Ottoman manufacturing was still turning its economy around with crafts and small-scale production. Mehmet Said Bey wrote petitions with the thought that it was essential to make a breakthrough in the field of industry for the economic future of the Ottoman Empire. Chambers of commerce, agriculture, and industry should have to be established in the Ottoman Empire, as in Europe. It was necessary to calculate not only the present, but also the centuries ahead of the homeland.
19. yüzyıl Osmanlı Devleti açısından gerek iktisadi gerek mali açıdan sıkıntılı bir süreçtir. Dolayısıyla devlet de aslında bu sıkıntılara çözüm arayışı içinde olmuştur. Ticaret Odası tarzındaki kuruluşlar aslında bu konuda devleti hem yönlendirecek, tavsiyelerde bulunacak ve neler yapılması konusunda devletin önünü açacak girişimlerin tabii ki yapılmasında katkı sağlayacaklardı.
Kırım Savaşı'ndan sonra müzmin bir hal aldı sıkıntılar pek tabii. Savaştan mütevellit getirilen tedbirler nefes olduysa da yenilik gerek.
Hocam sadece savaş olsa iyi. Anadolu'da ve Rumeli'de ortaya çıkan kuraklıklar pek zahmet vermedi mi bize? Yaralar sarılmadan 93 Harbi, Balkanlardaki ayrılıkçı hareketler, musibetler bir türlü bitmedi.
Haklısınız. Tüm bu musibetlere karşı sultanımız imparatorluğu ayakta tutmaya çalışıyor. Hepimiz bu konuda sultana müzahir olmalıyız.
Times were changing. Gathering the dispersed trade associations and guilds under one roof as in Europe had become a necessity rather than a need. There was no time to lose.
İstanbul'da özellikle 19. yüzyılda bütün Avrupa devletlerinin konsoloslukları var. Hatta sadece İstanbul değil, Anadolu'nun bütün kentlerinde, Balkanlardaki bütün şehirlerde İngiliz, Fransız, Rus İtalyan konsolosları bulunuyor idi ve öncelikli olarak kendi insanlarının ticaret hayatını garanti altına almak için ilgili teşebbüslerde bulunuyorlardı. Bundan şu çıkmış oluyor, İstanbul ticareti bir dünya ticaretiydi. Bütün dünyanın ilgilendiği ticaretiydi. 19. yüzyıla gelindiği zaman artık bunun daha modern bir şekle kavuşması gerekirdi.
While Mehmet Said Bey was meticulously carrying out the works to establish a Chamber of Commerce, he was first appointed as the chief clerk of the Mabén by Abdülhamid Khan, who was newly elected to the throne. He was now the closest officer of Abdülhamid Khan II. Said Pasha, who later served in many ministerial offices with the rank of vizier, gave the good news of the establishment of an important institution for the economic life of the Ottoman Empire in the second year of his Grand Viziership, in the 13-member parliament, the Council of Ministers.
Avrupa'daki benzerleri gibi ticaret ve sanayinin gelişmesine hizmet edecek bir odanın Osmanlı Devleti'nde kurulması ittifakta kabul edilmiştir. Ziraat nezaretinin bu konuda çalışmalara başlayabilmesi için son söz Padişah Efendimiz'indir.
Now there is only one thing left, the will of Abdülhamid Han II for the decision of the Council of Ministers, which gave permission and authority to the Ministry of Commerce and Agriculture to establish a Chamber of Commerce in Istanbul, to come into effect. The Grand Vizier, Mehmet Said Pasha, presented the resolution of the Council of Ministers regarding the establishment of the Chamber of Commerce, together with a cover letter, to the palace on the same day. On the 19th of January 1880, Abdülhamid II approved the Grand Vizier's memorandum. Now, the Der Saadet Chamber of Commerce was established by the will of the Sultan. While the empire was going through hard times, this chamber would be the lifeblood of both Istanbul and Anatolia. Sadrazam Mehmet Said Pasha took action immediately after the will of the Sultan Abdülhamid II. Conditions were difficult. Time was needed. Despite the Sultan's approval and the outstanding efforts of the Grand Vizier Mehmet Said Pasha, the establishment of the Der Saadet Chamber of Commerce took 2 years to complete. The works, which started on April 1880, would be finished on January 14, 1882, and the Der Saadet Chamber of Commerce was opened with an official ceremony held on the same day. Thus, exactly 140 years ago, the first national and local chamber of commerce in the Ottoman Empire came to the stage of history with President Azaryan Efendi, Vice President Süleyman Efendi, and 24 members in a small inn room.
Türkiye'deki tarihi geçmişimize baktığımız zaman ahilik teşkilatı ile başlayan, lonca teşkilatı ile devam eden bir sürecin sonunda 1882 yılında bütün dünya ile paralellik arz eden bir yapı içinde İstanbul'da Der Saadet Ticaret Odası kuruldu.
Padişahımız Efendimiz Der Saadet Ticaret Odası'nın kuruluşuna izin ve destek verdi. Efendiler, biz bugün burada, bu küçük han odasında 24 üye ile sadece Der Saadet Ticaret Odası'nı açmıyoruz. Şunu iyi biliniz ki, kıt kaynaklara rağmen bir toplumu zenginleştirebilecek yegane unsur teşebbüstür. Böylesi bir cihan imparatorluğunda ticaret ve teşebbüs münferit bir unsur olarak kendi başına bırakılamaz. Sadrazam Said Paşa'nın girişimleri ve Padişahımız Efendimizin iradesiyle tüccarlarımızın ve sanayicilerimizin örgütlenmesi hiç şüpheniz olmasın ki bundan 100 yıl sonrasında dahi bu toprakların insanların refahı için mühim bir mesele olarak anılacaktır. Efendiler, bu oda atıl bir oda olarak kalmayacak. Hepimize büyük bir sorumluluk ve görev düşmekte. Osmanlı ticaret ve sanayisinin gelişmesi için araştırmalar yapacağız, projeler hazırlayacağız, eğitime daima önem vereceğiz, dışarıya açılacağız ve bu hususta bütün görüş ve düşüncelerimizi hükümete sunacağız. Şimdi bu cihan şehrinde, Galata'da, bu handa kurduğumuz birliğimiz daim olsun. Padişahımızın fermanıyla nihayete erdirip açtığımız odamızın tarihi, vatana yaptığı hizmetleriyle anılsın. Devletimize, milletimize hayırlı ve uğurlu olsun.
After that day, Der Saadet Chamber of Commerce started to fulfill all its responsibilities in an empire that was struggling with many difficulties. It became a pioneer and a guide for the prosperity and development of not only Istanbul, but the entire Ottoman geography. The main task of the Chamber of Commerce was to investigate matters beneficial to commerce and industry, and to demand the creation of a production environment that would ensure economic development. It should have identified the obstacles to development and informed the government about the measures to be taken in this regard. For this, one of the important steps was taken. On January 5, 1885, the first trade newspaper published by the Ottoman Empire began to be published. Now, Der Saadet Chamber of Commerce would be able to make its voice heard more easily. Der Saadet Chamber of Commerce newspaper, which started its publication life with the encouragement of the government, started to provide news and information on various issues concerning trade, industry, agriculture, finance, public works, and public interest. At the same time, there were articles talking about market conditions, investment opportunities, the government's projects to develop trade, agriculture, and industry, and measures to overcome economic difficulties. The newspaper was an important success in the chamber in coordination with the government. Der Saadet Chamber of Commerce newspaper continued its publication without interruption during the reign of Abdülhamid II.
İkinci Abdülhamit döneminde Ticaret ve Ziraat Nazırı Subhi Paşa'nın teklifiyle İstanbul'da Der Saadet Ticaret Odası'nın bir gazete çıkartması 1884'te yazı ile gönderiliyor. Ticaretle ilgili olarak, yani özellikle aslında Subhi Paşa'nın talebi bir iktisat gazetesi idi. Fransızca ve Türkçe yayınlanmış idi.
When the chamber was in its third year, Chief Secretary Alexander İspariki Efendi gave a speech on behalf of the chamber, making very serious suggestions to the government.
Listede yer alan tavsiyeleri görüşlerinize sunuyorum. 1. Mevcut yolların tamiri. 2. Fabrikaların kurulması. 3. Liman ve nehirlerin temizlenmesi. 4. Yeni demir yolları yapılması. 5. Yerli mallar ve ürünlere uygulanan gümrük vergisinin kaldırılması. 6. İstanbul ve vilayetlere emlak ve ziraat bankaları açılması. 7. Gümrüklerin ıslah edilmesi. 8. Büyük mağazalar inşası. 9. Gemi inşası için ithal edilen alet ve makinelerin gümrük vergisine muaf tutulması. 10. Ticaret mahkemelerinin ıslahı.
After the newspaper, the Der Saadet Chamber of Commerce started to work on the establishment of a trade museum in Istanbul. Thanks to the Trade Museum, domestic goods would be promoted to the world, and these promotions would increase the sales opportunities of domestic products to foreign countries. The museum was opened with the will of Sultan Abdülhamid Han. At the same time, this was the preliminary preparation to bring Ottoman products to world showcases. The Paris exhibition was the first exhibition supported by the Chamber, but the Chamber's first truly successful exhibition was the Chicago exhibition of 1893. The Chicago exhibition, in which the Chamber of Commerce played an active role, was held by Lake Michigan. An exemplary Turkish village was established and a mosque was built in the Ottoman section, where Hakkı Pasha and his assistant Fatih Bey were the commissioners. Ottoman carpets, fabrics, tiles, furniture, agricultural products, weapons and other handicrafts, and models of buildings and ships were exhibited.
1893 Chicago Fuarı'na katılmak için ürünlerin gönderilmesi konusunda Dersaadet Ticaret Gazetesi'nde ilk ilan yayınlandı. Sadece Ticaret Odası'nın ilgilendiği ticaret, sanayi veya işte tarımla ilgili ürünleri değil, madenleri de işin içine kattığı için son derece zengin, yani adeta her ülkenin bütün iktisadi kaynaklarının, ürünlerinin temsil edildiği, yer aldığı bir fuar şeklinde oldu. 1893 Chicago Fuarı.
Chamber members started to work on the establishment of chambers in the provinces as well. In a short time, chambers of commerce were opened in many provinces, sanjaks, and district centers. The faster and cheaper the transportation in a country, the faster the agriculture, trade, and industry will develop in that country. Fast and cheap shipping are the most important reasons for business growth. Thanks to the railway, silk fabrics and other products of the provinces of Syria, Aleppo, Mosul, Baghdad, and Basra would be exported, and thus the country's industry would develop. Therefore, Dersaadet Chamber of Commerce played an important role in the Hejaz Railway project.
Hicaz Demiryolu 1900 yılından itibaren aslında inşaat safhasına geçiyor. Artık daha önce ülkede yapılan demiryolları ve burada çalışan Türk işçiler, Türk mühendislerinin giderek yetişmesi sayesinde Hicaz Demiryolu aslında büyük oranda yerli mühendisler, yerli sermaye tarafından hayata geçirilmiştir. Dolayısıyla bu anlamda işte Dersaadet Ticaret Odası da üzerinde düşen vazifeyi yerine getirerek o yardım kampanyalarının düzenlenmesi, onların hayata geçirilmesi veya işte Dersaadet Ticaret Odası gazetesinde bu kampanyaya destek verenlerin isimlerin yayınlanması gibi hususların da gündeme geldiğini söyleyebiliriz.
At the end of the First World War that began in 1914, the Ottoman Empire was officially ending its existence with the armistice of Mudros on October 30th, 1918. The Turkish nation started a resistance and independence movement all over Anatolia under the leadership of Mustafa Kemal Pasha, with his decision to save his homeland, which was almost reborn from its ashes and remained within the borders of the National Pact. First, on April 23, 1920, the Turkish Grand National Assembly and government was established in Ankara. In Anatolian cities, the resistance against the occupation, the national struggle, was organized. After the great victory under the command of Commander-in-Chief Mustafa Kemal Pasha, on the 30th of August, 1922, the efforts to establish the new state were started. In the period when the Lausanne negotiations were suspended, the economic policy of the newly established Turkey was being determined in Izmir. While the date was February 17, 1923, Gazi Mustafa Kemal Pasha's opening speech was the first herald of the emphasis on economic developments. Gazi Mustafa Kemal Pasha said, In order for our new Turkey to reach the level we deserve, we have to give priority to our economy, because our time is nothing but an economic cycle. No matter how great the political and military victories are, if they are not crowned with economic victories, the victories that occur cannot be permanent. Economy means everything. Everything is necessary for living, being happy, for human existence. It means agriculture, it means trade, it means work. The Congress focused on the nationalization of privileged foreign companies. It was stated that the capitulation-type practices that feed unfair competition should be ended. It was decided that the preparation and implementation of the national economic policy would be the basic principle. When the Republic was proclaimed on the 29th of October 1923, the Republic of Turkey was taking over a tired empire after long years of war. Now, factories had to be opened and investments had to be made in the industry for urgent recovery of the country. History once again assigned a very important role to the Chamber of Commerce.
Şimdi Cumhuriyet Türkiye'si savaştan çıkmış, işte 11 yıllık bir savaş süreci yaşamış. Doğal olarak bunun getirdiği tabii ki ciddi sıkıntılar. Ülkede mevcut sanayi tesislerinin bir kısmının kapanmış olması, ticaretin ağır darbeler alması. Ama netice itibariyle Osmanlı'dan Cumhuriyet'e intikal eden bir takım ticari değerler var, sanayi tesisleri var. Ve Cumhuriyet de bunların üzerine bir şeyler ilave etme çabası içinde. Özellikle o ilk dönemlerdeki çarpıcı gelişmeleri de buna bağlamak lazım.
In 1926, a ship resembling a white swan would emerge from the Golden Horn shipyard. That ship, it would undertake the task of promoting the modernizing commercial and cultural structure of a fledgling republic, a nation, to all European shores.
Türkiye'de üretilen birçok ürün Karadeniz vapuruna koyulmak suretiyle bir Avrupa seyahatine yapması ve burada Türkiye'nin ve Türk ürünlerin tanıtılması gibi bir proje hayata geçirilmiştir. Ve Atatürk de tam 1926 yılın Haziran ayında bizzat bu Karadeniz vapuru yolculuğa çıkmadan önce özel olarak ziyarette bulunarak bu meseleye ne kadar önem verdiğini de kendisi bizzat göstermiş oluyor.
With the devoted efforts of the Minister of Commerce, Ali Cenani Bey, and the support of 500,000 liras from the Istanbul Chamber of Commerce, the Black Sea Ferry was made to be sailed in a short time.
Sayın Heyet Başkanım, kıymetli konuklar ve milli matbuatımızın değerli muhabirleri. Bugün burada ülkemizin hür ve milli olan iktisadi faaliyetlerini, ticari emtialarını Avrupa ülkelerine tanıtmak amacıyla hazırlanan Karadeniz Vapuru seyyar sergi teşebbüsüne verdiğimiz desteği sizlerle paylaşmak için toplandık. Seyyar sergi vapurunun önümüzdeki Haziran ayı içinde yola çıkabilmesi adına İstanbul Ticaret Odası ve üyeleri olarak temin ettiğimiz 500 bin liralık çeki huzurlarınızda Sergi Heyet Başkanı Sayın Rauf Bey'e sunmaktan şeref duyarım.
Sayın Başkan ve siz değerli konuklar. Ülkemizin necip menfaatleri adına girişmiş bulunduğumuz bu kutlu teşebbüse İstanbul Ticaret Odası azalarına ve Sayın Başkan Refik İsmail Bey'e şükranlarımı sunuyor. Ülkemiz için kutlu olmasını diliyorum. Hayırlı olsun.
The Black Sea Ferry anchored in Istanbul with great ceremony on the 12th of June 1926 and set off for the coastal cities of Europe. The floating exhibition covered 10,000 miles in its 86-day journey and visited many major port cities, especially London, Barcelona, Amsterdam, Hamburg, Marseille, and Leningrad.
Türkiye'nin yurt dışında düzenlediği fuarın katılımını odalar organize ederler ve buradaki firmaları toparlarlar. yurt dışına götürürler ve firmaların ihracatçı olması için destek sağlarlar. Yurt dışından gelen heyetleri ağırlarlar ve buradaki alıcılarla bir araya getirmeye çalışırlar, satıcılarla bir araya getirmeye çalışırlar.
With the effect of the floating exhibition, the chamber was accepted to the International Chamber of Commerce in 1927. A year later, the first price indices would be published in the Republic of Turkey and would be included in the United Nations publications. In 1930, the first domestic goods exhibition was held. One of the activities of the chamber that year was the establishment of the Craftsman Dispensary. In the last days of 1939, an earthquake struck Turkey in Erzincan. 33,000 of our people lost their lives in that earthquake. A great responsibility fell on the Istanbul Chamber of Commerce and Industry to heal the wounds. The chamber donated 10,000 Turkish liras to be shared with the earthquake victims. In 1944, 470 delegates from 52 nations attended the conference to be held in the United States. Members of the Istanbul Chamber of Commerce and Industry were among those delegates. Istanbul Chamber of Commerce and Industry joined the OEEC in 1948, which formed the basis of the OECD. With this decision, Turkey laid the foundations of opening up to the world economically. On March 8, 1950, the more liberal bill was passed and entered into force. Chambers gained partial autonomy with this law. In this period, an important development took place for the Turkish economy. The Union of Chambers and Commodity Exchanges of Turkey, TOBB, was established.
Bizim gücümüz tarihimizden gelir. Tarihimiz ise köklü kurumlarımıza dayanır. Onlar yalnızca ürettikleri ve ekonomiye yaptıkları katkılarla anılmazlar. Aynı zamanda geliştirdikleri değerler ve gelenekleriyle öne çıkarlar.
The year 1950 was a year of great transformation for our country. One of the most important general elections in the history of Turkey took place. The Democratic Party, which entered the elections with the slogan, "Enough is the word of the nation," came out of the ballot box with a high majority in the elections. Thus, Turkey actually passed to the multi-party system. The regulations made in this period were of vital importance in the history of the chamber. In 1952, the Istanbul Chamber of Industry completed its establishment and left the Istanbul Chamber of Commerce. From now on, the chamber continued to serve and operate as a chamber of commerce. The Istanbul Chamber of Commerce established the Economic Development Foundation with the joint ventures of the Istanbul Chamber of Industry. In a rapidly globalizing world, it was imperative to support successful entrepreneurs. With this awareness, successful exporters were rewarded in 1968. The rapidly growing Chamber of Commerce moved to the building on the shore of the Golden Horn and continued its activities from this building. Once again, the Chamber broke new ground and started the tax award application. Since its establishment in 1882, in the 12th flat of the Mehmet Ali Pasha Inn on the shores of the Golden Horn, with a debt of 200 Turkish liras, the Chamber has had only one goal: keeping the country's trade up with the times and Turkey's having a say in world trade. Whatever needs to be done on this road, the Chamber of Commerce has always continued to do it.
İstanbul Ticaret Odası'nın bundan 140 yıl önce kurulması, ondan sonra 1952 yılında Türkiye Odalar Borsalar Birliği'nin kurulması, arkasından sanayi odalarının kurulması ile toplumda artık ekonominin öncü gücü, lokomotifinin özel sektör olması gerçeği ortaya çıktı. Ve bu gerçeğin ışığında odalar hakikaten devletin bu yöndeki bütün yüklerini üzerine almış ve ekonomimizin bugünkü seviyeye gelmesinde çok önemli görevler yapmıştır.
Members of the Istanbul Chamber of Commerce, with the experience of the 1893 Chicago exhibition, knew that fairs were indispensable elements for trade. So a fairground worthy of the world capital Istanbul had to be established. Once again, the shirt sleeves were rolled up for Turkey. In the centennial year of the Chamber, the Istanbul World Trade Center was established, which still hosts many important organizations and international fairs today.
24 Ocak 1980 kararları Türkiye Cumhuriyeti ekonomisinin serbest ekonomi modeline geçtiğini, bu dünya ticaret merkezini açarak bir nevi kurum olarak da ticaret odası bir katkı olarak da ortaya koymuş oldu. İsmi de zaten bu çağrışımı çok net bir şekilde yapmaktaydı.
Being a chamber of commerce in Istanbul, the world's favorite city, was not easy. However, with the strength it received from Turkey, the Istanbul Chamber of Commerce continued to participate in international fairs every year and to organize Turkish national affiliate organizations since the 1960s. It continues to take its members from various sectors, from food to TV series and film content, from textile to industry, from technology to real estate, to more than 40 fairs every year.
Dershanet Ticaret Odası 1893 yılında çok eski, neredeyse buradan 130 yıl evvel Chicago'da yapılan Dünya Ticaret Fuarı'na katılmıştı ve bu anlamda Türkiye'nin yurt dışındaki ilk ve çok önemli bir fuar katılımıydı bu. Bugün 40'ın üzerinde uluslararası fuarda Türkiye milli katılımını organize ediyor İstanbul Ticaret Odası. Dünyanın 7 kıtasında fuar yapıyoruz.
A bold step has been taken to raise qualified and well-educated youth for the Turkey of the future.
Toplantımızın sonuna geldik. Gündem dışı söz almak isteyen var mı? Buyurun İsmail Bey.
Değerli başkanım ve saygıdeğer çalışma arkadaşlarım. Odamız kurulduğundan bu yana eğitime hep destek oldu. Ancak artık daha ileriye bir adım atmamız lazım. Artık nitelikli sanayici, iş adamı yetiştirecek bir üniversite elzemdir. Bir an önce bir üniversite açmalıyız.
Istanbul Commerce University started its education life.
İlk yıl 73 öğrenciyle öğretim hayatına başlayan üniversitemiz bugün 1200'ü yabancı uyruklu öğrenci olmak üzere yaklaşık 10.000 öğrenciye ulaşmıştır. Vakıf üniversitelerin ortalamasının üzerinde bir doluluk oranına sahibiz.
İstanbul Ticaret Üniversitesi gerçekten bir vakıf üniversitesidir. Tabii böyle muazzam bir kuruluş ve daha çok piyasaların ihtiyacını dikkate alarak kurulan bölümleri, programları, enstitüleri bu doğrultuda kuruluyor. Üniversiteler arasında bana göre çok ayrı bir yeri vardır.
It has enabled hundreds of thousands of children to receive education, not only with the university, but also with more than 45 schools that it has brought to the national education. It has contributed to non-formal education with the ÖZİMEK Special Administration Vocational Training Courses project, which was carried out together with the Special Provincial Administration, National Education, and İşkur. Members of the Assembly and Committee of the Istanbul Chamber of Commerce brought a new direction to Turkey's vocational education by sponsoring 54 vocational high schools.
Çalışma şekli Türkiye Büyük Millet Meclisi'nin çalışmasına benzer bir yapı içerisinde devam ediyor. Amacımız ekonomiye bir tuğla daha fazla nasıl koyabiliriz? Bu ülkenin ihracatını nasıl artırabiliriz? Maksadımız bu.
Investing in national technology should have been made for a stronger Turkey. Joint projects were developed with the Presidency of Defense Industries in order to put Turkey's name among the world leaders. Technopark Istanbul Technology Development Zone was put into operation in order for local and foreign entrepreneurs to contribute to Turkey's technological development capacity. The Knowledge Commercialization and Research Foundation was established in order to commercialize innovative business ideas and provide added value to our country. The era was changing. In order to provide uninterrupted service to its members, the Istanbul Chamber of Commerce carried out infrastructure works without wasting time, taking into account the benefits of the digital age. Within the scope of EITO, room services were moved to electronic environment.
İstanbul Ticaret Odası'nın web sitesini portala dönüştürerek birçok hizmetin üyelerimizin odaya gelmeden, bulunduğu yerden, mobil aplikasyon üzerinden veya internet üzerinden almasını, haberdar olmasını, bir takım belgelerini, başvurularını oradan yapmasını, bazı belgeleri oradan tedarik etmesi imkanını da sağladı.
With the multi-purpose Cemile Sultan social facilities in Kandilli, it started to contribute to supporting social life. Istanbul Chamber of Commerce, on the one hand, supports international projects for the development of commerce. On the other hand, it has always taken the responsibility for the protection of historical heritage. The second-degree historical monument in Eminönü was restored and started to operate as a new service building. The chamber completed the restoration of the Kızlar Ağası Mehmet Ağa Madrasa, which was built in the 16th century in the 125th year of its foundation. The restoration of the Rustem Pasha Madrasa, built by Mimar Sinan, was also carried out. The restoration of the new mosque Sultan's Pavilion, carried out by the chamber, was deemed worthy of the Europa Nostra award. The chamber's library started to serve in its new place and more effectively. The Istanbul Chamber of Commerce, under the name of Kitap Istanbul, continued to bring together special works and trade-based books describing our history, civilization and culture with the public.
İstanbul Ticaret Odası aynı zamanda Türkiye'de ticaretin tarihi olarak da adlandırılabilecek bir kurumdur. Çünkü 1885 yılından itibaren Ticaret Gazetesi çıkararak yayın hayatına başlamış. Daha sonra çeşitli sergilerle ve kitaplarla kültür hayatına da büyük katkı vermiş bir kurumdur.
Balkanlara kadar kitap yayınlıyor İstanbul Ticaret Odası. Bu aslında bir ufku da ortaya koyuyor. Yayıncılık ufkunu da, kültürel ufku da ortaya koyuyor. Diyelim ki bir kapalı çarşı hem ticari bir birim hem de aynı zamanda yayın boyutu, kültürel boyutu ve turizm boyutu olan bir birim.
Istanbul has been included in the Formula One racing calendar with the contributions of the Istanbul Chamber of Commerce. Formula One Turkish Grand Prix was held in Istanbul for the first time. Istanbul Chamber of Commerce Sports Club continues its sports activities in Üsküdar and Kadıköy. The one who produces and works always wins, and it also makes money for the country. With this thought, the Istanbul Chamber of Commerce has produced non-stop, and each success has led to the wave of our flag in the international arenas. Being selected as the best chamber in Europe within the scope of the accreditation project led by the Union of European Chambers, the Istanbul Chamber of Commerce has been given even greater responsibilities. It became a member of ASKAME, Union of Mediterranean Chambers of Commerce and Industry. Şekip Avdagic, chairman of the board of the Istanbul Chamber of Commerce, was elected as the deputy chairman of the Danube Chambers of Commerce. The 2000s were a new milestone for Turkey. The Turkish economy has grown faster than ever before in its history. The eyes of the world were on Turkey, the third airport of 77 million square meters. Marmaray, one of the biggest projects of the century. Yavuz Sultan Selim, Osman Gazi, Çanakkale 18 March bridges and new ports. None of them remained dreams. As Turkey grew, the Istanbul Chamber of Commerce was also growing, adding to its strength with the successes of its country. The Istanbul Chamber of Commerce has overcome all kinds of difficult storms with its strong roots in 140 years. The AI flag produced new ideas to move it forward and transferred the flag to new generations. As Der Saadet Chamber of Commerce, it continues its journey, which started with 24 businessmen, with more than 650,000 members today.
Çağdaş, inovatif ve üye odaklı bir çalışma anlayışıyla bu tarihi sorumluluğu en iyi şekilde taşımıştır. İstanbul Ticaret Odamızın bu vizyon doğrultusunda İstanbul ve Türkiye'nin hizmetinde olmaya devam edeceğine yürekten inanıyorum.
The treasure of this city, fertile land, people, tradesmen, merchants. If they all joined hands, if they combined their sweat with modernity, they would mature like a spike that would not just grow and turn into a very precious wheat. 1,000 wheat from a single spike family. Family means knowing its roots and clinging to its roots. Family means knowing the beginning. The beginning of our big family dates back to exactly 140 years ago. It is a story of patriotism, perseverance, work and self-confidence. Istanbul Chamber of Commerce worked for 140 years in its adventure, which started like a grain of wheat, blending tradition and innovation. It became an even bigger family. It got its strength from its land and its people. To all the children whose heroes are Turkey, and to the millions of business people who guide those children as they grow up. To many 140 years full of success and innovations.